Hello, everybody. My name is Justin. I'm the owner and founder of Fickle Films LLC, and today I want to take you through a step-by-step on how to make the most out of a site called StaffMeUp.com, as well as teach you how to apply and find work on it. Let me be the first to tell you that I'm like many people with this site. I was skeptical, I was nervous, I was not wanting to do it. I've been using it for about 5 months now, and admittedly, in my first 5 months of using it, I didn't think I would find work with it. I was getting mad. I'd seeked out professional advice, and I thought really and honestly that it was a waste of my time and it was a waste of my money. Now, if you're in Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, if you're in any of those, there is almost no need for this site unless you are just wanting to be a freelance and bounce from job to job. If you live a distance from places, using this site might be your best option and your best idea. Now, here on the homepage, you see that you can apply to jobs for free and then post jobs for free. I don't know what it looks like on the posting jobs for free. I don't know what that side of it looks like. I've asked, but I've always wanted to do a sit-down interview with people that use this site all the time to get an experience or perspective from them, but unfortunately, I have been unable to do so. So we're going to look at the paid options. Now, the great part about paying these is if you're a freelance like I am, a full-time freelance, for you, this is a business expense. If you do the yearly or the monthly, either one is a tax write-off. Now, we're going to jump into what all of this means throughout the site, but you have your rolling. I'm just going to take you through what each one is. And I will say, this site's gotten cheaper since I first got with it. In fact, it's $2 a month cheaper, which doesn't sound like a lot of money. But the fact, A, that it's cheaper is like a great thing. I would be like, yes, all the way for anything that gets cheaper. If you go into your rolling, so your rolling is just that, your rolling, like it's the free version of this site. To me, it doesn't do any good because you will apply 100 times before you finally get a yes. You'll get more no's than yeses. Having the site under rolling and applying to 5 jobs per month might be okay with you. Me, this is what I want to do. This is my life. This is what I've dedicated myself to. So rolling was not a good option. The speed option, you see here, instant work alerts, one-click cover letters, upload your resume, unlimited job applications, job status, save jobs for later, thousands of partner jobs. We're going to jump into what all that means. This I think is okay, but nothing like the action one that gives you the power boost, featuring 3 credits, and the rank meter. It's all about you and what you want to do. I can't tell you what option is the best. You have to know your budget and what you're working with. The yearly one, you'd have to click on the yearly button to find out the rates. These are only screen captures. This is not live viewing at this moment of how this site works. Pick an option you're happy with, go with it, and as you learn throughout the site today, I hope this helps you be able to gain a better understanding of what you can or cannot do based upon your preferences. So going into the first page of the site, after you've signed up and all that, whenever you do the paid options, you have a lot more tabs available, which we're going to get into. So here on the first page, you got on your left side, you have the different things, the activity feed, which is what you're on, which is maybe a blog of useful tips, or it's not like a social media site where you can just like message somebody and say, hey, what's up? I mean, you can, but it's mostly to see like, oh, this person just worked on this, because they've just added this credit to their profile. That's a cool thing. So you can root for them, cheer for them if you've worked with them, or even if you haven't, just be in good spirit. The negotiator is great because you can learn about you can type in certain information you want to know about a job and how much you think you should be paid, or within the industry average of that job. I've never used the Channel 2 forum, so I can't really speak for that. It's, as far as I know, it's like a discussion board. Set life hashtag, I have zero idea of what that is. I've never used it. We're going to look at these other things on the left, particularly under that second square box. I'm going to take you through an in-depth look of what that's all about. Then we jump into the activity feed, which we just covered, and then going into your work alerts, and on the right side, work alerts and application status. Work alerts are either within line and what you've required, or just general work alerts in general. So, for example, I'm subscribed for work alerts at a certain way, so I'm going to get certain work alerts because I've subscribed to those. I'm going to teach you how to do those as well. In your application status, this is a beautiful thing as well. I'm going to teach you all of what this means. It, in theory, should make the best sense to you. I hope that it does. If you have questions, you know you can pop a comment below and I'll be glad to answer them. Starting on the left side of your activities feed, so you click down on finding a job. So you search production jobs or you browse. Either one, you're looking at over 100 different jobs you can have within this industry. From as low as a PA to as high as a director. I mean, there's no limit to what you can do. You're going to see the list of these soon. Not the whole list, a pretty good chunk of it though. So you can search for these jobs. You can look at your recently viewed jobs. What I love about this site, one of the things I love is when you go to look for jobs, whenever you click on that job itself, it will open a new tab for you. So that way, if you're scrolling through jobs, you don't have to start over. You don't have to hit the back button. It will open a new tab for you, and it will make your job just so much easier. My job board I've not used, I don't think, so that one I can't speak on. My saved jobs, you can save a job, but instead of saving it, just apply for it. Don't waste your time. Just apply for it, unless that's your thing. I don't know how you operate. My work alerts is great, and I'm going to show you how to set those up because it's essentially giving you first notification that a job has been posted within your criteria. Jobs I've applied to, this will give you updates on the status of your application. Then your My Resumes, which is very self-explanatory, the list of resumes. And my cover letters, I missed that obviously. My cover letters is great because you can do, just like a professional cover letter, you can do one on here if you choose to go that way. It's great because you can have your resume and you can have your cover letter in the same file, or you can do a cover letter here and keep your resume separate, so then that way they're focused on your work, not your cover letter. Then looking at my profile, so view my profile, edit my profile. So I mean, simple. You want to look at your profile? Or do you want to edit your profile? I don't really think there's a difficulty in understanding that. So whenever I was telling you earlier, browse or search production jobs. Whenever you see production jobs, look at this list. This is like maybe 50 jobs of the hundreds, it seems like, that are on here. I mean, there's so many things on this site. It is a plethora of awesome stuff. So you can search by position, by department, by state or province. So there's some out-of-country work that will pop up on here, or by city. I would say search by state and then determine if you're willing to drive to that distance. Like, going by state does help reduce the headache of looking for the town that you're looking for. Here you are looking at all the jobs. These are not all of them. There's a bunch more than this. Pick one of these jobs. You know, that's what's great. I'm just showing you browsing and searching. This is what you're looking at. This is how you can find the work you're looking for. It helps break it down to more specific to what you want to do. Now going to my work alerts. Now this this is great. This is great because you can pick a job or a department within, I mean, by specific title even, within a certain up to 250 miles of any location you choose. So you see I've chosen within 250 miles of LA or 250 miles of Oklahoma City. Now in defense, there are some of these towns that I have highlighted, like Dallas. Like Dallas and Oklahoma City are not even a full well, they might be close to 250 miles apart, depends on which part of Dallas you go to. But Oklahoma City and Dallas are short drives of one another. So I will still get notification for both, even if both fall within that distance. And being realistic with you, it is better that you get these notifications because as soon as that job is posted, you apply. You apply quick. That is how you succeed in this site. Part of it is you apply quickly. You don't just apply just to apply. You apply quickly, swiftly, and keep the faith that you will get the job. Going into your cover letters. Cover letters are entertaining because a lot of people, they write one cover letter and they attach it to a resume and they think that's it. And that might work in a real full-time 40 hours a week 401k benefit job, but on something like a freelance, a good cover letter highlights your strengths and weaknesses. It doesn't say anything about your credits. It highlights your strengths and weaknesses and allows you to be able to focus on selling yourself. So on here especially, when you create a cover letter, create a strong cover letter that highlights that job that you're applying. Not necessarily like, oh, I know your boss or I've worked with you before. What is it that makes you stand out compared to everyone else? What is it you want to do? Basically, you want your cover letter to make you look like you are a golden child who has every bit of potential they need and then some. And keep it specific to what you want to do. You see, I have general PA, cam op, camera PA. Let it be specific to what you want to do. If you want to go for a grip, so a grip, gaffer, whatever you want to do, let your cover letter as well as your resume reflect on that. So we look at our jobs that I've applied to. Now this is awesome for me because if you're like me and you have little patience to know things, this is perfect. So, for example, I want to work as an assistant camera. Yes. Okay, I've applied. Yes. What's the status? Oh, it's been received by the job poster. Yes. Okay, so scroll down a little bit here. We see job poster has fully reviewed my application. Yes. And there's one that says job poster has marked your application as consider. It's in green. Yes. Essentially, you're no longer having your application just sent. You're getting information on the update. It doesn't mean that you've got the job. By any means, it doesn't mean that. You will get a notification from the job poster what to do next. Rather, it is to send an email specifically or call them, or they'll just call you. They might not even tell you information. They might just call you out of the blue and you better answer your phone. Otherwise, next. So that's the great thing about jobs I've applied to is it gives you an anticipation, but don't get so caught up in the anticipation that it drives you insane. Be smart. And here is where you upload your resumes. Now, that's what's cool about the site. Unlimited resumes, unlimited unlimited cover letters. But every time you put a resume, you should put a resume that is specific to what you want to do. It should highlight your strengths and weaknesses, but more importantly, it should show your work. Because you can go to imdb.com, you won't find all of the work that you've done on there because either the show or movie hasn't come out yet, or it's just not up there yet. So at least here, you have your resume and it's up to date. It should stay up to date with what you've done, and it should focus on what you want to do. As you can see, I have 4 different resumes. I have at the bottom my general resume, which I've never used or hardly used. I have my assistant editor resume, which I've used minimally. I have my network TV resume, which is to say all of my assistant or production assistant level work. It's essentially my PA resume is really what I treat it as. And then my camera department resume, which highlights my camera department experience because that is more focused on what I want to do along with directing, but I don't have a director's resume yet. Here is your main profile. Essentially, what anybody that has access to this link, this is what they're going to find. If you give them the link to your profile, this is what they will find. They will find you, a picture of you, where you're from, your availability if you've marked it as, you're busy on a job, your education, recommendations, gear skills. We're going to talk about this in a minute. And then, so going underneath your picture, you have a summary, your email, your phone number, a resume, your Facebook, Twitter if you choose, I believe that's Vimeo, I've never used that link, YouTube, and LinkedIn, which I very rarely use ever. And then you give like a little 3 or 4 sentence, depending on your sentence length, of a little bit about you. Not a full book, just a little bit. You're limited on some of this stuff. And then this right below, that's where you're going to add new credits, which I'm not going to teach you how to add new credits. That's not what I'm here to show you. If you want to know, let me know, and I'll do a picture-by-picture description of how to do that. Looking at media, so I haven't used that. I'm going to find out what that is probably tonight or today, whatever time it is where you are. Recommendations. So if you want a recommendation, you find somebody on StaffMeUp, and it's tricky because some people have the same name as somebody else. You find them on StaffMeUp and ask them to write a letter of recommendation. I've written letter of recommendations for a couple people. And what's great about them is that they help you look more professional, they make you stand out, and essentially can help you get job security whenever you're trying to get a good gig, especially if it's a long-term gig that pays really well. Your education, which obviously your education does matter, that's on my resume, but it never hurts to have it here too. Now, whenever you go to your My Gear, this is useful. because if you are applying for a chem op job or any kind of job where you have to have your own gear, this helps them to be able to see what you have if you have not already mentioned it to them. So letting them know of what gear you have will help you stand out if you're in a position or applying to a position that requires that. And that's mostly to cam ops, sound, sometimes gaffers need to have their own equipment, etc., blah, blah, blah. Affiliations, I don't have any affiliations, so I can't answer this, but as far as I've understood, it's unions and things like that, guilds. There is some union work that comes through this site, but not all the time. Keep that in mind. And then skills. What are some key points about things that you can do that are just poppin' interesting? What makes you unique in your skill set? Does this mean they look at all this other stuff whenever you're applying? No, not really. But if they do, if there's that one that does, the more you have on there, essentially the better. But it still doesn't guarantee you work. Nothing in this site guarantees you work. You just have to put in your best effort, keep fighting, keep going for it, and eventually it will work out. It is a struggle, and trust me, I know because I've been there. And that concludes getting started in this site. Now we're going to jump into how to apply. And when applying for a job on this site, it's fun and it's cool, but it is a race against the clock. Everybody and their mom in heavier areas like New York or LA or Atlanta will be applying so quickly that you won't be able to keep up. Sometimes you can be faster. You just have to be, bang, I've got it. Bang, I know what I'm doing. Bam, I'm ready to do it. You have to be fast. So keep that in mind. So anyway, whenever you go to apply for a job, so you've already browsed or maybe searched, you found the city or maybe you found the job you wanted and it's where you want to be. Now over here on the right side, we have the date that it was posted. So if it was posted yesterday, it would have that date, or today it would have that date. Obviously this is a little bit out of date, but you get the idea. Underneath that's that little heart. That's how you can save a job. I don't ever use that. And then you look at the job title, the location. You click the details, which we're going to look at next. It will tell you. And then usually who's posting the job. And what's great, one thing I love about StaffMeUp is if you're wanting to find a staff position that's more specific to what you want to do, and you're willing to actually have a steady place of employment, these guys are partnered with everybody, it seems like. So even if you can't find what you're looking for, maybe this might have a resource to help you get your foot in the door elsewhere, because a job board is sometimes what some employers, not all that I can speak for, but some employers do look at job boards. And if this is going to help you be more confident when applying, then hey, go for it. And then that's what's in blue. You go somewhere like LA, it's going to take you like 10 pages of job listings till you find the blue. So there's that to consider. So you've clicked on the show or the job title. You've clicked on the job title, production assistant. Here's what you find: a full breakdown of the job. So I told you earlier about that rank system. So here we are right now. There's my rank up against the other 3 people. Out of 3 people, including myself, I rank number 3 out of 3. That's not offensive. That's not intended to be offensive. That's just where my rank is at. That doesn't make me any less qualified. That's just where I qualify by the terms, the algorithms outlined within the site. What those algorithms are based on, I have no idea. I don't know, aside from what I've told you, I don't really know the in-depth side of that. That'd be something I'd be interested in learning myself. So underneath that, you see, it tells you where your rank comes from. If you've worked for the company before, sometimes you won't know the company. Sometimes they don't tell you who it is. Some jobs won't tell you the company, but you might have worked for the company. I don't know. Again, I don't know the other side of the picture. I don't know what it looks like from the job poster point of view. You don't have any mutual connections to this job. So I've got connections on this site, but I don't have mutual connections. If you use Facebook on here, there was one job I applied to and it said, you are friends with this person on Facebook or something like that. And I'm like, really? So I'm in the back of my mind. I'm thinking I should reach out to everybody I know that could possibly be that person. But then the other side of that too is that would also negate and otherwise embarrass myself, and I'm not exactly in the business to do that. Your reputation is your word, until your reputation is your work, or something like that. So don't risk giving yourself a negative reputation. Hey, did you post that job? Hey, did you post that job? And then of course it tells you when the job was posted. In this case 4 days ago, from today. Whenever you're watching this, it's think back in time. Be imaginative. So production company, Group 9 Media. I have no idea who they are. Rate, full rate. So some jobs will tell you what the rate is within the job breakdown. Some of them won't. That is going to be depending on experience, and every job's going to have different rates depending on where you fit in that category. Travel details. This is very common. This is why a lot of people use this site, because there are some jobs you will travel with, but for the most part, since you're going to be in that area, it's letting you know that, hey, you might or might not go out on location. And if you go out on location, some jobs will help you, some will not. That's why they look for locals. That's why and we're going to get to this, when they ask you, can you work local? That's why they're asking you, because if you're local, you know the area well, and you're not expecting them to cover accommodation. We're going to jump into that in just a minute. And then if it's a union or non-union jobs, I've seen very few, but I've seen very few union jobs on this site, but they do exist. They're just not as common. And then of course they give you a full breakdown of what it is they're doing, what they're looking with from you, scheduled dates, possibly pay, things like that, and some other maybe requirements, like maybe they want references from your resume, blah blah blah, etc., etc. This is good to know for you, to help you better know if you are qualified for it, and it also helps them know what to put out there. That way they don't get such a huge flux of candidates and everybody's time gets wasted, because you don't want to waste your time, you don't want to waste their time. At least this will help you better know if you feel like you're qualified, and if you are, go for it. Going back to the job requirements. Now, 50 miles is not that far. Whenever you look at the fuel economy of most vehicles today, on an average vehicle, 50 miles could be almost a gallon of gas, or close to 2 gallons, depending on what you drive. For me, it's roughly 2 to 3. Can you work as a local? Can you provide accommodation for yourself, lodging, and get yourself there? If the answer is yes, then click yes. But keep in mind, if they do call you and say, like when I worked in North Dakota, they said, hey, so we realize you're coming from Oklahoma, can you provide lodging? I said, yes, but I have a question. Is there anybody else from the team that's coming from out of state? And they said, oh yeah, our sound guy's coming from LA, why? And I said, can you give him my contact information, and maybe we can split a hotel room? Even though they're strangers, we're all in this industry. Like everybody's name is on file at this point. If they call you, everybody's name is on file. So what I did is we got in touch. Me and the sound guy got in touch, and instead of paying, it was the opening game for the college, opening season football game, first game of the season. Better words. Rooms, even with Airbnb, were like much higher than a hotel room, in the sense of, like, it would have been good, but it would have been bad, because that price was just like, wow. So myself and the sound guy ended up getting a room, 2 separate beds, thank goodness, and we split the cost in half. So we still spent a bit, but we spent less splitting the cost because we got a room. I mean, that's financial planning. That's how you plan smart and go far, by reducing your cost and maximizing your profit. That's business. And then here we go. Now you sell yourself. Whenever you submit your resume and all this stuff, there's going to be essentially one page of, can you work as a local? Okay, I'm imagining this because I've never seen the other side. Yes, they can work as a local. And then in basically 2 or 3 sentences, or within 100 characters, make yourself sound like you are the golden child that is the best candidate for the job, no matter what. But be smart about it. Don't say, well, I'm the best and everybody thinks so. No, give them reason that does not come across as cocky or otherwise boasting of your ego. Because I guarantee you, ego will destroy you in this industry real quick, especially if you're a new guy in it. Now, selecting a cover letter. Now, we've gone over that. Cover letters are great. Now, the trick to a good cover letter, good grammar, good spelling, all of that matters. Don't send them a cover letter at all if you're going to risk embarrassing yourself. A good cover letter talks about a little bit about who you are, what your goals are, because they want to know, are you doing this because you love it, or are you just doing this because it's money? Because more often than not, if you're passionate about what you do, people are more willing to work with you and help you succeed in this industry if you're willing to put in the extra effort. That's just the rundown on how that goes. There's no other way to say that. But a good cover letter is short, 3 paragraphs max, short paragraphs too, and they highlight you and who you are and what you want to achieve within the industry. So then we go to resume. And pardon the dog in the background, I assure you, it is not mine. Attaching a resume. Again, I've got specific resumes, I've got broad resumes. Pick a resume that's in line with what you've applied to, and make sure that along with your cover letter, you're selling yourself sentences and your resume. Make sure you look like a golden child that has never been seen, that is that voice or that talent that is yet to be seen. It's like being an actor. Sell yourself in such a way that you are the most desirable person to work with. And then 3 credits to feature. I'm not going to show you quite how to do that. All you do is you click on it, it drops down, and then you click that. So like imagine your application, and this, in the back of my mind, this is how I envision it. You go to apply, and there's a checklist that they're looking for you to follow. So the first page of 3 pages they should get. The first page will be the general questions, the short and sweet answers, including featuring 3 credits, which should be in line with what it is you're trying to do. You should select 3 that make you stand out. So you've got your 3. Okay, good. So your first page should have that and these other things. Your second page would be your cover letter, and your third page should be your resume. That's how I imagine the other side of this is. I don't know. But essentially, you are wanting to be that golden child. You want to be that person that stands out, and you want to be the best choice for them in every way possible. So that is StaffMeUp. That is how you apply to jobs. That is how you navigate the site. And that is how you get in there and you take names and you show them how it's done. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you will guaranteed find work. But hopefully what I have taught you today will help you go far in this industry, or help you at least get a step up. And hopefully I'll get to work with all of you someday. I know I have some people watching this. I know I have worked with you and I loved it. I love you as my friend. And I'm very thankful to see what you have become and what you will become. To all of you new to this site, don't get discouraged. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep working your butt off. Make sacrifices. I assure you, you can and you will make it in this industry, but you must persist. You must keep fighting. You must keep going. And the harder you fight, the harder you push, the greater that victory is when you have it. Don't give up. Persevere and fight the good fight. Or as I like to say on Facebook, keep the faith. Hashtag keep the faith. Have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you watching, listening, and if you have any questions about this site, if you have any questions about the industry in general, feel free to send me a comment below, and I will be more than happy to help you out. See you next time.